Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on using fields for data management. Data collection is the cornerstone of many process apps which depend on accurate and complete items that follow your process. Compiling relevant historical data into management reports also depends on the effective data collection. SBM Composer provides many types of fields, most of which have sets of properties that define the behavior of the fields. SBM Composer provides a set of required system fields in primary and auxiliary tables. You can also add custom fields as needed for your process app. In the table palette, there are many different types of fields used to gather information from users as they work with items. Fields can be tailored to prompt users for pertinent information as items move through the application workflow. Some common fields are text, user, date time, single selection, and relational fields. There are also system fields that are added when the process app is initially created. The owner field is an auto-populated user field indicating the current primary owner of an item. The value of the owner field is determined by the state in which an item resides and changes as items are transitioned through a workflow. The item type system field is populated with types of items you wish to track, such as defects and enhancement requests. Date time fields such as submit date store date and time values. Text fields let users enter information such as status or problem descriptions. You can set the field so that the users can format text they provide. We will add one more of each item type that was listed in order to populate the more accurate data values for this process app. In the table palette, drag and drop a single selection into the table. We want our process to have a priority when first entered into the system so the IT admin knows how important the item is. Name this field Priority. Notice when you give a field a name, it auto-generates a database field name, which can later be used in scripts, forms, and orchestrations to manipulate and/or display data. Now we want to choose a privilege section. Each field type is associated with a default privilege section when you drag it into the table editor. You can change the privilege section using the privilege section drop-down list on the General tab of the Field Property Editor, or by right-clicking the field in the table editor and selecting Move to Section. By default, field definitions, including the privilege section, are inherited by associated workflows and passed on to sub-workflows. You can override field definitions in these workflows and in any state or transition associated with them. Refer to the online help for a description of each section. We want to keep the priority in the standard section. Click the Options tab in the Property Editor. We want to add 3 values to be populated into our single selection field. Click Add. Give the value names of High, Medium, and Low. The remaining default properties will work. Now drag a text field type into the table. We want our user to describe why the item is being submitted. Name this item Description. And place it in the standard privilege section. Click on the Options tab in the Property Editor. There are 3 options for style. Memo, which allows the user to enter up to 65,000 characters. Journal, which is very similar to Memo, but tacks on or appends onto the last entry. And Fixed Length, which allows up to 255 characters and has the option to replace characters with asterisks. The best choice for us to use is Memo due to our one-time entry to describe why the item is being submitted. Note that the Rich Text checkbox is marked by default. The Rich Text Editor enables users to apply basic formatting to text in the field. The remaining default properties will work. Click and drag a user type field into the table. We want to know which IT member the item will be assigned to solve. Name this item IT Owner and keep it in the Standard section. Click the Options tab in the Property Editor. There are two options for style. Allow searching. Select this option to enable users to search for values. This is recommended when you have a large number of users. Single drop-down list. Select this option to let users select a value from a populated drop-down list. We will use single drop-down list. Under associated roles, I've created an IT Owner role. Due to what we want this user field to accomplish, IT Owner will be the role we want to select. We can leave the rest of the properties to their default values. To learn more about roles, look for the role management video in this series to learn how roles work with user fields. Click and drag a date-time field type into the table. We want to be able to know when work must be completed for each ticket. Name this field Due Date and place it in the Advanced Privilege section. Click the Options tab. As you can see, there are many different styles for the date time. The one we want is date and time. We can leave the rest of the properties to their default values. We have successfully added pertinent field values into our process app and organized them into their privilege sections. To see the result of our work from Blueprint into Forms, click on the Workflow Design tab. Click on the Resolve Transition. Click on the Form tab in the Property Editor and click on Preview. A form should appear. As you can see, our field values are in their associated privilege sections. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video on using fields for data management in SBM Composer.